Hello and welcome back to Maybe We're Projecting. As always, I'm Patrick White, and with me is
Genevieve Radasti.
Tom Noblock.
And I'm Joshua LeBior. We love movies. The show's about movies. But there's been a great TV show that's come out that is based on a movie called Four Seasons from Tina Fey. But before we get into that, I'm curious what TV shows, which we're not usually going to talk about, have been kind of distracting you from movies lately. Because I know for me, I have a couple. One of those was Four Seasons, but the other one is The Rehearsal. Mm-hmm. I love The Rehearsal. The first season, I think, is one of the best seasons of TV I've ever seen. I love Nathan Fielder. I love his humor, but also just there's something so layered and strange about what he's doing with The Rehearsal, where I feel like between that and producing How To with John Wilson and all of these projects, even The Curse, which is like a narrative, but it's presented almost as a documentary. I feel like he understands documentary film more than most documentary filmmakers or people in the film world. And what he's doing with these shows on blending that line of documentary, reality TV, and cinema is striking. And every time, I think we're only 2 episodes in on the new season, and it's already just like, we're on the 3rd. So we're on the 3rd episode as of recording this. By the time this comes out, I'm not sure where we'll be, but just the layers that are unraveling and just the absurdity on top of just the genuine emotion and exploration is just otherworldly.
I said before, I think we're lucky that Nathan Fielder decided to make art and be funny, because he's so good at manipulating so many people that he could really have ruined the world in his own and remade it in his own image, and he might by the end of The Rehearsal. We'll see. His Synecdoche, New York might just grow and grow.
Yeah, his takeout of Paramount Plus was pretty epic.
Well, and I think it's such an introspective series, The Rehearsal, so far, where he is, exploring this past, whether it's his past with Canadian Idol, which is really, really bizarre. But yeah, these shows are a reflection of who Nathan Fielder is or isn't in so many odd ways that it's beyond just a documentation of absurdity, and obviously this one is focused on, of all things, like airplane crashes and miscommunication in the cockpit, like really bizarre, but it is him also just commenting on his own experiences as a person.
Which, how prescient right now when we're having so many problems in aviation with
it is very
FAA.
bizarre.
How do you know it?
Yeah.
This is so clearly filmed over the last couple years.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're seeing all this stuff in the headlines as the show's coming out is like pretty strange.
I basically couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard at the breastfeeding scene in the most recent episode. Hardest I've laughed all year, I think.
Same.
For me, I wish that Nathan could congratulate me for getting out of bed every day. I just want to listen to that one scene of him telling that girl, you know what you did that other people aren't? You got out of bed. And I'm just
That's so good.
I did get out of bed. Thank you. I've been loving The Rehearsal, but my husband is very confused because I'm watching The Rehearsal at any given time, or I'm watching The Valley on Bravo, which is a Vanderpump Rules spinoff. And I'm not a Vanderpump Rules girl because I don't really relate to a lot of what's going on over there. That's a very foreign world that they live in. But The Valley, everyone's married, everybody's got kids. It's very like mid-age crisis, a show for it basically, and I'm loving it. So yeah, he tells me, he's just like, I'm very confused by what television you choose to watch.
That's reasonable.
It's The Rehearsal for me as well. I have been getting back into Drag Race content as well. I have told you guys before that reality TV is often home when I'm at home, and I really focus movies in the theaters and want to take that time to go to the theater to see them. But yeah, Drag Race is easy to put on and just, get distracted for a few hours with my wife.
I love Drag Race. That was like Drag Race and Dragula were like my comfort shows on my first maternity leave. All I did was watch drag. And so like I have that emotional connection now. Like, you guys saw me through a really hard time. So I love Drag Race.
Have any of you watched The Studio at all?
No.
Me either.
No.
What
It's
is
been recommended. by
everybody's like
everybody.
hyping it up so much,
I
and it
know.
looks good, but for some reason, every time I go to watch it, I just don't want to hit play.
There are so
And I
many
don't-
shows. I mean, I haven't watched Severance season 2 or season 1. I've watched episode 1 of Severance, nothing else.
Oh wow, okay.
So many great shows.
I
The
did
Last
watch
of
Severance,
Us,
yeah.
I was trying to get
Severance was
back into
good.
that. Oh, I have no issues with any of these shows. I just,
I
for
do.
whatever reason, I just do not sit down and watch a lot of TV.
Me and Tom like to text each other about how annoyed we are about The Last of Us right now. So
I hate watching that.
we've been hate watching it every week, it seems.
I don't know, the studio, for me, because I've had a lot of movie-related projects over the last year, sometimes I feel like I'm ODing on movies.
Oh, sure.
And I don't know if I need another movie-related topic.
Yeah.
It's like a show. My sister was recommending it to me. I said, no, I'm over movies, was my exact way of saying it. She said, well, it's a show. And I'm like, no, it's about movies. It's too much movies sometimes. But yeah, I'll probably watch it. And
I'll watch it like eventually, I think.
I just finished watching The Pit, finally caught up on The Pit.
Oh wow,
You guys watched it?
I haven't seen any of that. Why are there so many shows?
There's good shows.
Thousands.
A lot of good shows out there, and it's very different than the studio, I guess. Although I don't know, the studios every episode they have some kind of movie-related crisis on some project to solve, which I guess is kind of like The Pit, but it's bodies and life.
Life.
Real life crises.
Yeah, really intense show, but I thought it was very good. So that's been taking me away from movies.
I get that. I was gonna watch a movie last night, but I got distracted with the new season of Poker Face. So, very good so far, but also ridiculous. I kind of hate and really love that show at the same time. I get like addicted to watching each episode, but I'm also like this whole conceit is like kind of annoying. I don't know what it is about the show, but I watch every show or every episode.
I feel like Ryan Johnson likes that energy of
Yeah,
I'm annoyed, but I guess I want to watch it.
yeah. That's basically what Brick was.
Yeah.
It's like I'm annoyed that everybody's doing these noir accents and stuff in a modern high school, but I also love it. Strange.
This is a total tangent here, but this makes me think of the Daniel Craig character in Knives Out and the other ones. Why does he look like James Bond still? Why doesn't he have a big stupid mustache?
So, yeah.
Like Nosferatu.
He should have a Nosferatu mustache, yes.
But let's move on. So the kind of intro into this is there's a new show from Tina Fey. It's her return to TV after a long time of not doing any narrative shows that she's written. And it's called Four Seasons. It's based off of a Alan Alda film that none of us have seen because it's been very hard to find. Even Tina Fey said she had to have the editor find her a bootleg copy somewhere, though it is out on Netflix now. I just saw, but I didn't have time to watch it before we came today. But the show, I just loved it.
Yeah, I like it too.
I mean, it's just kind of reminds me of like those kind of dramas, the middle-aged drama, comedy, dramedy things that we would get with like The Big Chill, with like I don't know, any number of films from the 80s, 90s. And I don't know, it just felt like a return to those, but in a way that didn't feel derivative. It actually felt like really refreshing.
It felt personal to
Yeah.
her in a way that I don't think we've really gotten since the early seasons of 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Because I love the first 4 or 5 seasons of 30 Rock, I think are amazing. And then it kind of goes off the rails for me by the end. And
Yeah.
The off the rails energy was Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt for me too, which not terrible exactly, but I don't know. I didn't really see a lot of the interesting Tina Fey, the person in it. And then Mr. Mayor kind of felt like she was trying to recreate that energy of those shows in the 90s that nobody really liked, but for some reason had 20 seasons.
Oh, yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's on, I guess.
I forgot about Mr. Mayor.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I just like left my brain. I didn't even remember that was a thing.
But then here it does feel like she's exploring real questions of middle age, of getting older, of what's annoying about the people around. I kind of wonder, I bet in her friend group there were many real life details. There would be these very specific moments of an annoying detail about a character or a thing they say or do. And I thought, this feels like she's picking on people she knows, and they're going to watch it, and they're going to not like that.
Yeah.
But I love that. I think that the meanness of Tina Fey, but also the sweetness of Tina Fey, is really
Yeah.
in full effect in the show, in a really effective sense.
It's all there as far as how funny it is, how dramatic it is. And like I really felt like all of these characters were like really well you know, sometimes they almost get too far into like the stereotypes of like the middle age, middle crisis, whatever.
But people are stereotypes.
But people are stereotypes sometimes, and I just love Will Forte's in it, Steve Carell, Coleman Domingo. I love his character so much, and just the whole show is just, it works so well for me. And I just think that exploring a lot of these themes that a lot of movies have done, but I don't feel like they do anymore, and putting it in a TV format, I feel like it could have just been a movie in some level, because I'm curious where they're going to try to take it with season 2, or if they're going to get a season 2. I kind of hope they don't, but they kind of set up like an open ending.
This is one of the only shows I've watched in years that it's like 8 episodes, right? And I thought, I wish it was longer, actually. I could watch more episodes with these people.
I feel you. Yeah, I really could have. Yeah, I mean, and if it just feels so much better than so many things I've watched recently, as far as comedies go.
Is it an hour-long show?
Half hour.
Half-hour episodes.
And the conceit is you spend a couple episodes per season with these couples who've known each other since college. And so it's in the first one, you have 3 couples, and then 2 of them are, there's a divorce happening. And so it sort of splits things up, and then they're sort of trying to acclimate to that and then their own lives and problems. And it portrays early 30s as sort of unrecognizably, unidentifiably young, out-of-touch people, which I was happy to see. That as a person who's closer to that demographic than Tina Fey, certainly, I related to the old people. But
it's pretty funny because I related to both on some level. Because there's like this whole joke. There's a band called Mannequin Pussy, and I love this band so much. But it's really funny because there's this whole joke about Steve Carell's character like really gets into Mannequin Pussy. But it's just a fun band name to say, right?
I'm sure that won't get bleeped.
I don't think we have any rules about bleeps.
Well, I suppose we can turn to a very different ensemble next, if that's cool with everybody. I had the opportunity to see Thunderbolts last weekend.
Is that what it's called?
Thunderbolts asterisk. Yeah, I won't be the one to spoil it. You can look anywhere on the internet, and then you can get it spoiled for you.
Thank you.
What the asterisk is.
I think somebody spoiled it for me already on Instagram. So
I like, as a marketing guy, I like the marketing idea. I just wish they would have waited a little bit longer. Let it sit in theaters for a few weeks before the big reveal happens.
At least wait until people can watch it at home. I think that would be
Even
a good.
that, yeah, absolutely. That could have been a way of marketing it further. But yeah, Thunderbolts brings together a reluctant crew of anti-heroes from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they are facing off against a new threat in the MCU called the Sentry, who never appeared before. But there are a lot of familiar faces. We've got Florence Pugh, Wyatt Russell, David Harbour, Sebastian Stan, of course. And honestly, the ensemble is really terrific together. There's a great dynamic between all of them. And it's a group of some really superior actors. What I struggled with a little bit was it took a bit to get going, I would say, and really get into the central idea of the film, which is, surprisingly enough, kind of mental illness, depression, just being in dark spaces. But it falls into a little bit of the tropes of the Marvel humor, and you got to do all the expositional stuff. One thing that especially bothered me was dialogue in which they were referencing TV shows or movies from the past. And it's like, yeah, we get it. My dad went to see this. I don't think he's seen an MCU movie, and he had a good time. You don't need it every single time. Those who get it, get it. Those who don't, it's okay. You've established these characters well enough. One of the things I was just joking with a friend, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, formerly the Winter Soldier, is now a senator. Completely unexplained. But we have to explain little pieces from the TV shows and the movies past, but it's not explained why this war criminal basically is now the senator.
Well, that's not so unrealistic.
I was gonna say that checks out.
I won't get into that, but it's kind of bizarre where they decide to explain things in the dialogue and other places not. But what really worked for me was the third act. There's just no question. It was a great twist on the big third act battle,
right?
Where it's more of saving somebody in a situation as opposed to destroying something, destroying a robot, killing an alien, what have you. I really appreciated that they took it in a different direction, and it had a point of view that other more recent MCU films didn't have. Captain America, the Brave New World being a perfect one.
That really intrigues me because with Marvel movies, I don't have a bone to pick specifically, but Act 3 is usually when I check out, when I'm just like, this is just like every other one. I'm not into it. So that really intrigues me and makes me kind of want to watch Thunderbolts.
Well, and I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but Ryan Coogler's like Black Panther, for instance, I think is a really terrific movie until the third act. It just kind of falls into big action spectacle. So yeah, I just really appreciated that it didn't fall down the same trap, and it leaves me quite optimistic moving forward. I'm curious to see what they do with the Fantastic Four this summer, because I enjoy these movies. I'm not going to pretend I don't. But them going into a little bit more explorative directions, I'm way more intrigued by than just another action spectacle.
That's
and I'll
exciting.
say, like, I haven't been like that interested in seeing any Marvel films since I got a little intrigued with the Eternals, just because I wanted Chloe Zhao to like bring her flavor to a Marvel movie. I've started it like 4 times and haven't finished it. I think I've given up now, but because I've just heard it's not good. So I don't know.
There are a lot of ideas at play in that one.
Yeah.
I think some of them work. I'm
And then
more of a
before that,
defender than others.
Then before that it was Black Panthers, but this is one actually I was kind of like, yeah, maybe I'll go see this.
Last one I saw was that second Doctor Strange, just because I'm a huge Evil Dead fan. So basically, I'll go for Raimi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Black Panther though. I haven't seen a full Marvel film I think since Captain America, the first one.
Wow, checked out early.
And I don't think I've seen any other Iron Man besides the first one.
That's
So
fine.
I think those are the only 2.
It's not there.
Unless you count Spider-Man. I have watched the Spider-Man movies.
There you go.
Because I had always, for whatever reason, liked Spider-Man. But I still love the Sam Raimi ones the most.
What were you going to say about Multiverse of Madness?
Oh, yeah, it didn't convince me. It was kind of nice to see a little bit of the Raimi flavor. I did like the Bruce Campbell cameo still got. Pizza
absolutely,
Papa was a fun character. I still think about him.
Can't go wrong with a Bruce Campbell cameo. Well, I'm going to throw it over to you, Josh, to talk to us about some physical media.
Well, Nora has been talked to death the past year. But we like to highlight physical media when we can. And the new 4K disc of Anora just came out from the Criterion Collection. And this 4K, I mean, obviously it looks great. It's a new film. It's going to look great in 4K. It was shot on film, so that always really lends itself really well to 4K because film gets just so much information in it that when you transfer it over, you want it as big as possible. But there's a ton of great special features. There's a beautiful booklet in here. And for me, this was a film that when it first came out and everybody was hyping it up, and there's the artwork is a tribute to a James Franco film, which I think is
Jess Franco.
What did I say?
James Franco. I'm like, no.
I was like, I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'm going to save you.
It's an homage to the interview, the great James Franco film.
And the artwork is a tribute to a Jess Franco film. I think all that should be left in there. But I think that for the film, for me, when it first came out, for whatever reason, I've just been, when people are really hyping up a movie, I just assume I'm not going to like it that much. Because I tend to get very disappointed in most of the films that people are really excited about, while the movies I'm excited about, nobody will watch, for anything, as much as I try. But this one, I came to it late. I literally watched it the day after the Academy Awards when it basically got Best Picture. Mikey Madison won.
I felt like you had to watch it at that
I
point.
finally felt like, okay, I need to watch this. I've also seen every other Sean Baker movie, except Prince of Broadway, which is coming to Criterion soon or is out now, which I will watch. But I watched this film and I got it immediately. And I understand the criticisms, but for me, Mikey Madison's performance and just the energy throughout the film worked so well. It worked so much better than I thought it would. I loved the tone shifts. I love just the how kind of wild and free the film felt, which I think sometimes for Sean Baker films I don't like. They feel too manic for me. And for whatever reason, I really clicked with this one, and especially in the last scene. It all came together from when the film first started. I was like, I think I hate this movie. To the last scene, I was like, just really locked in, and I feel like I just completely got what they were trying to do with this character and with this story. And yeah, and I think it helped that I also hated the guy that she married, like from the beginning. So I think that's an important thing. If you're at all intrigued or charmed by him, then maybe it'd be hard to like the film.
He looks like he would have a YouTube channel.
Yeah. I think he's a vlogger for sure.
We have a YouTube channel.
No,
Barely.
I mean,
We have a community.
let
We
me-
have a public access
let me
TV show.
clarify. He looks like he would have a YouTube channel that my 5-year-old would watch, and I would say, please, anyone but him.
Yeah. Do not do what he does.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like, what are your thoughts on Honora?
When you have annoying characters, I think there's a limit to how much time I want to spend with certain characters. And I don't think Mikey Madison is bad in the movie at all, but like my baggage with her is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Scream 5, where she plays the same character and has the same outcome, basically, as an annoying person who gets set on fire. I'm sort of, I dragged my feet watching this because I thought 2+ hours of her might be a lot for me to handle. And she is not the only annoying character in the movie.
Oh, for sure.
There's a lot of people more annoying than her in the movie, but I think if this movie was 85 minutes long, I'd say, yeah, it was really good. And there's a lot of good stuff in it, but I found it kind of exhausting.
I can kind of see that. But I think that, I don't know, for whatever reason it worked for me. And I think that I needed that kind of first 25, 30, 40% of the film of me thinking I hated what I was experiencing to really appreciate the back half that I just loved so much. And I feel like for whatever reason, it didn't feel that long to me. I felt like the time just went by quickly. And I think Mikey Madison is just like, I didn't even remember that she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I didn't remember her character at all. And the Scream movie just kind of, it went through my eyeballs and just somewhere in the ether. I don't remember anything about it.
Belongs.
Yeah. I just remember being like, okay, this was fine. It wasn't as bad as like that TV show that MTV did, but it's not as great as Wes Craven's Scream. So I don't remember anything about it. I also didn't even remember that she was in that as well. So this movie for me was like, even though I'd seen those films, was like, this is my introduction to her.
Interesting.
And I just feel like it was so layered, and there was just so much stuff that she had to bring to her performance, like from the physicality of it, from the dancing, to just the vulnerability, to just letting herself be so obnoxious on some
I can
level.
throw a comparison that's I think, hopefully a flattering one. John Cassavetes and Mikey and Nikki.
Yeah.
Super annoying.
Yes.
Exhausting to be around. It's a good movie, great performance, but like it's not what I
Yeah.
really want to go back to.
I get that, yeah. And some of those Cassavetes movies too are like they're exhausting to watch.
Yes.
I mean, A Woman Under the Influence is an
Yeah.
exhausting film. And I can see what Sean Baker's doing with this, and I think he's making his kind of like, subverting the fairy tale kind of thing with that Cassavetes lens. And I think he's always kind of done that throughout his filmography, but I feel like this kind of feels like a culmination.
Well, and I feel like that the runtime, I know we have some disagreements about the runtime, but I feel like it was kind of earned because you have this woman who is incredibly performative and has this facade of, I'm really tough, I do what I want. Nobody owns me. I'm awesome. And I think we kind of need the 2.5 hours to kind of chip away at that and see who she really is underneath that. And I thought that Sean Baker was successful and Mikey Madison was successful because I always felt with her characters that they had, I said this in the group chat, kind of big villain energy. Like she was really putting out some bad vibes. Whereas in this, she's putting off these really powerful vibes and keeping the more vulnerable parts to herself. And so I thought it was really interesting how over the course of 2 hours, we really get to know what's underneath.
Yeah, when we see that, when we
Even
get that
though-
release,
Right.
I fall somewhere in the middle between, I would say, your two arguments. I think the performance is terrific. That's certainly not my issue with it. I actually really enjoy the beginning and the end. It's actually more the middle where I struggle. I think it gets almost like slapsticky and hijinks, and I saw a lot of comparisons to Uncut Gems in terms of tension.
You
And I was
mean
like, I'm
Uncut
not seeing-
Gems?
What's that?
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems, yes.
You
But
could say she's Sean Baker's muse.
Certainly.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to absorb all the Julia Fox references here. The middle, it did not build tension for me. I thought the moment in the home, there was tension there, certainly, but it was almost like comedic in a weird way. And I'm like, this is a very real and horrible situation she's in. I don't see a lot of comedy to this at all. And it falls into these like weird rhythms of like, where is she? Where is he? Let's go find him. We're going to this place and then this place and this place. And it got to be a little meandering for me, but I had no issue with her performance. I thought she was terrific and she earned the Oscar, I would say.
And I love a meandering film.
There
Fair.
you go. That helps,
So,
doesn't it?
That's my problem. I've broken my brain over the years. Now I get more annoyed by tight plots.
It doesn't need to be tight plot, but
no, I know.
an 85-minute movie is an art that is seemingly gone.
Yeah,
It's true.
No, that's very true.
That is another thing, going back to Hong Sang-soo, that I mentioned in the last episode. Most of his movies are about 70 minutes. Perfect.
That's the way it should be.
But moving on. Okay, so we're going to have to cut here. But do we want to talk Wes Anderson or Sinners? I don't think we have time for both because we're at our
We're out of time.
I think Sinners.
Sinners.
We can always do Wes Anderson.
That's true. Well, the new
We'll have
Wes.
seen Phoenician Scheme fairly soon here, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. But do we want to talk about it before it comes out, or do we want to talk about it after?
Do a whole episode on him.
Yeah, we could do a whole.
Let's do a whole Wes Anderson episode next time. Okay, cool.
More time to revisit some stuff.
All right. So next up, we got to talk about this new film from Ryan Coogler. We've kind of mentioned Ryan Coogler a bit in this episode, but talking specifically about his new film Sinners, it's been dominating the box office. It's kind of been a cultural phenomenon in some ways, getting people to go back into the movie theaters, similar to what Barbenheimer did. But it's been, I think, an amazing thing to see. But, let's talk about the film specifically as what it is, because we have the cultural phenomenon, but what was your experiences with seeing the film?
I could give you a quick breakdown of what it is without giving, some real spoilers here. So you've got two characters who are trying to leave their criminal past behind, two twin brothers, actually, both played by Michael B. Jordan, and they're returning to their hometown to open a juke joint alongside their cousin, who's going to be a performer there, a guitarist, singer. And then there's a form of evil, we'll say, that enters their surroundings and their juke joint that creates quite a bit of chaos. It's a very interesting blend of like almost gangster drama, period drama with horror elements. And is it cool if I just go into my feelings about it? I honestly thought this was a really terrific, big, bold effort from Ryan Coogler, who is somebody that I'm rooting for personally. I think he is a very intriguing genre filmmaker. Obviously, he started with Fruitvale Station and indie drama that's terrific as well with Michael B. Jordan, but then went on to do Creed, Black Panther, and now Sinners. And Sinners, to me, has a vision to it. I'm reminded of somebody like Denis Villeneuve as well, who has a very distinct vision, but is able to balance all of the elements that it takes to make a genre picture, a blockbuster like this. The acting, the cinematography, the music, especially with this, because there is so much focus on blues and just music in general. It really stood out to me as a tremendous effort from him. And I think it's another reminder how much of a star Michael B. Jordan is and I think that he needs to be in a heck of a lot more stuff. Thank goodness he didn't get wrapped into the Fantastic Four franchise. Like, I'm glad that movie failed, because I think it would have robbed us of a few Michael B. Jordan performances had he got locked into superhero stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to see more from Coogler. I'm excited to see more from Michael B. Jordan. I'm a Sinners fan.
I agree. And I was thinking when you were mentioning all the different genres, like I think I even said like in my review on our Substack, maybe we're projecting.substack.com. I did it. I'm ridiculous. But I think that it tackles so many different genres from the, those period pieces you were talking about to even like erotic thriller and it being a musical itself. I just loved, I went into this film expecting to be disappointed. Like I said, like I have had the tendency to be disappointed by the hyped movies. All the prestige films that I'm supposed to really love from, some, I'm not going to name names right now, but, Dune. I was bored with those movies, and I get why people love them, and I understand the craft, and they're so fun. But I think what I loved about Sinners is it's messy, and it feels like he's taking such big swings. It doesn't feel perfect. It feels like a lot of things that should not work mashed together, and he makes it work. And I think he makes it work with like a passion. And I think that's why I was so attracted to the film, because I could feel his passion for the music, for Michael B. Jordan as an actor, as well as the characters he's playing, for the world that he's showcasing, as well as the genre elements. Like I could feel his personal stamp on all these things. And to me, that made it so much more exciting to watch, because I didn't know what was coming. And I was surprised so many times throughout the film that I feel like I've seen so many films at this point that doesn't happen often, especially with a blockbuster.
I love about Sinners is how you can see how his history working for Marvel, working on Creed and all of these already established IPs, you can see how vital that was to getting to Sinners, because there are such technical things in that movie that if you didn't have experience on a big budget film, I don't think it could have happened. Like there is a scene where someone simply walks across the street and the camera follows them, a busy street, goes into a store, comes back across the street, and it's one shot. And I'm like, I don't think an inexperienced filmmaker who hasn't worked on like a Marvel set could have pulled that off.
Especially with a giant IMAX camera.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not like he's just going with his iPhone, like, okay, now we're going to go across the street and back. No, he is using the tools that he has and he is comfortable with now to tell an original story. And I think that's so exciting to see kind of that marriage of the big budget with something different, something important. And so I just love that. I really enjoyed it. And I think it had that big drama, almost melodramatic feeling that you get from blockbusters from decades past, like Titanic. I thought of Titanic while watching it because I'm like, this isn't going to go well, but I really want to see what happens.
Well, even the simple idea of just two Michael B. Jordans on screen, like the first shot when that happened.
They are showing off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then it's interesting because you forget. Like you forget that you're watching a movie and that there's probably all this technical, mumbo jumbo that you have to do to have these two versions of one man on screen together. It's really marvelous in that regard.
I will say I was very turned off at first by having Michael B. Jordan play two people, but it worked so well, like as it went on, that I've like totally got lost in it.
Great choices in terms of costuming and makeup. Even just like I think he's got like some grills or gold teeth in to show that differentiation.
I had a friend who thought it was two different people. I don't know how that happened, but yeah.
I thought the actors.
It thought Michael B. Jordan and some other guy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting how the Warner Brothers movies this year, we got the Mickey 17, Alto Knights, my favorite, and now Sinners. It's all these doublings. I don't know what that's all about.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
The doublings.
Is there going to be two Leonardo DiCaprios in one battle after another now?
It's interesting because I was reading Doppelganger from Naomi Klein at the same time, so there's something there.
Oh, I want to read that book. That looks good.
It's very good. Yeah. Now it's a book review show.
The Monkey too, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. My friends and I noticed that too as we were watching trailers, because there was an instance where it just lined up where you could see a Mickey 17, a Monkey and a Sinners trailer all in one. So you're just getting back to back.
What is
wins.
happening?
What do you think's going on there?
What's in the water?
That's a very good question. I don't know.
I'm just glad people are seeing it. I'm
Yeah.
glad they're going to the movies. I'm glad it's coming back to IMAX.
Yeah.
I'm just glad people are excited about any movie right now because it feels like every weekend we hear bad news about another box office bomb. So it's nice to see something that's original, that's from such a talented director, that in 25 years he'll have the rights to his film. And as we're talking about all these like physical media and stuff like that, and films like Four Seasons maybe disappearing, like as long as he's around and he has those rights, like, you know, that film will be safe somewhere, you know, like being in the archive and hopefully having some love given to it. So I definitely think that there's a lot that goes into Sinners beyond just the film itself, but I also thought that it was like a really exciting film to watch. So
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Maybe We're Projecting. Don't forget to check out our reviews at maybewe'reprojecting.substack.com, and we'll see you next time.